guys, this is my personal spin on a 1920s makeup look. I've got some music that should be playing softly in the background so that you guys can enjoy. As you can see, I'm using eyeliner to map out her eyes. That is a kohl pencil. You can use any black liner you would like, and taking a brush and smudging it all out. I'm using that on her lash line as well as her socket line. And the reason for that is that's going to create the dark base that I want under the eyeshadows I'm going to be using. Taking a black eyeshadow from the Dreamcatcher palette that I've used in my previous videos. I'm further smudging in the kohl eyeliner, and what this is doing is creating a real dark, intense base. Back in those days, they didn't have all of these eyeshadows we have now. I was kind of shocked at the things that they actually use, things like charcoal and soot. So this is like my spin on it, because I have eyeshadow. I'm not going to use charcoal or soot. So this is blending the colors black using the pencil. From the Dreamcatcher palette, I use a rusty color or a bronze, a real dark, deep bronze. And I go over with this silvery, like gunmetal color. And that kind of like to mimic the soot, I guess. This is my personal spin. This is not an exact historical 1920s makeup tutorial. This is inspired by one. And so that's why you see me using the tools that I'm using. You guys can just choose to do a dark eye, and it's kind of like a messy, sloppy eyeshadow look. And do a lip that's kind of like the China doll lip, where you have the cupid's bow really in a heart shape, and then the bottom lip really like rounded just in the pouty area, and do like the real bright blush. I use lipstick in this one to do it, and you can get away with this look. Put one of those little bands around your head, and pretty much that's what the women in the 1920s seemed to be doing. Also, it was very obvious that their makeup was extremely pale. I read that they used things like powders. It's called cake. I think it's called cake makeup or something, and it's some kind of weird powders they would put on their face as a foundation, and it was always meant to be extremely pale looking. So I mimic that by using my favorite concealer, the Glamouflage, and also using um, a foundation, a regular foundation. In this case, it was the L'Oreal True Match, and I think mine is a warm beige. That created sort of like a porcelain type of, is definitely lighter than her natural skin color, so I had to bring it down all the way down into her ears and around her neck and into her hairline to mimic a porcelain doll type of face. And that, what I understand, brought out their eyes and their lips, which is what their whole makeup look was really about. It was all about the lip and the eyes. Now, I do not believe, now I could be wrong, that they used fake eyelashes. I put some on her just to dramatize the eyes further. I didn't see any pictures where it was obvious to me that a woman from the 1920s was wearing fake lashes. Maybe at that time they had not invented them yet. However, I believe mascara was definitely something that was used, and you can tell that their lashes are a little emphasized, or they're brought out by something, and it probably is mascara, but I do not see evidence of fake lashes. So this is just my personal spin on the 1920s, brought on by the movie The Great Gatsby, which I thoroughly enjoyed. And here I'm just putting some concealer under her eyes, and again, you guys know what that is. I don't even have to show it to you. But in case, it's the Glamouflage, yes, my favorite hard candy concealer. And I needed it to be as light as it was for this look. And then I believe I went into her brow with a black liner, the same kohl liner. And here I'm using a pinkish lipstick. It's kind of like a corally color, to bring out her cheeks. And it looked to me like it was just on the cheek and not brought back, but I brought mine back because I don't like to put blush on and just leave it sitting on the apples of your cheek. I like to bring it back. To me, it just doesn't look right the other way. So, just taking some lipstick, I created a pinkish corally color and smacked it onto her cheeks. And then I went in with both a brown by LA Colors. You can use any brown, any black eyeliner to do the brow. The brows obviously were very intense and elongated. So that's what I tried to do on my model. Not exactly the way I see it. I see that they did it. They had very, very thin lines, and that's just not attractive to me. So I put my spin on this brow, and I did elongate it, and it was pretty intense. And there is some black in there because it's also obvious they use very dark colors on their eyebrows. And so I think here I go ahead and with I've already gone off camera, by the way. Let me just interrupt myself really quick before I get to the lips. Off camera again and did the lashes and the other eye. So there's some pieces missing here, and that's what it is. I never do lashes on camera because there's a trillion videos on women showing you how to put on fake lashes. However, if you guys would like to see me do it on camera, I'd be more than happy. Here I am outlining her lips with a mauve color, and then I am using a very deep red lipstick. As you can see, I did emphasize her cupid's bow a little. I made it a little bit pointy looking. And then with two different shades of red, went into her lip and filled it all out. And thank you guys so much for watching. And I'll see you guys next time. Enjoy.
Floor. There's a dance called a black flag, most of it did before.